hold this pen to show that my view is sun and truth. And hopefully they don't try to change the words that I'm speaking because it's harder to see my mouth. That's part of what they're trying to do with the mask. They're trying to make me look funny, so I wear a mask so they can change the audio. And they have systems and supercomputers. They can line it up to my movements and make it seem like I'm saying something else. So beware of that, okay? Know if it's not morally precise truths that's profound, then I'm not saying it, okay? So let's look at Africans, okay? The difference between the Zulu and the Igbo warriors is like the difference between the top martial artist and a long distance runner. It's like the difference between the most fit leopards and the weakest leopards, the most sickly leopards. They're still dangerous, but they're not in tip-top shape. This is historically how it was. Now, the reason why they're changing this is because that's their belief system. The left-right paradigm. They say the communists on the left, communist-ish, socialists, progressives, liberals, okay? Fascists, conservatives, fascists are really national socialists. They're nationalists, white nationalists, okay? These guys believe in taking from the king, right? They're secularists, and giving to the regular people, even if that king is King David or me, the King Christ, okay? Why? Because they are run by rich people, rich governing class, nobles, and kind of globalist people, white Jews and Asians especially. In America, mostly whites and Jews, and they are not natural leaders. They are not natural leaders. They are crooks, these particular rich people, okay? It's like Dick Cheney. It's like George Bush, Skull and Bones, Kerry, okay? All these governing class guys, especially presidents and the mega rich, are thieves. Can you imagine Jacob Rothschild saying he's the top martial artist? It's not going to happen, okay? Or any president, what, Obama, Bush, Reagan, Nixon, okay? Clinton, these guys aren't natural leaders. These guys are geeks. We look at the Western system. Their deity of martial arts was Mars. And he's like a privileged frat guy. He's like a skinny, gay-looking guy in some depictions. And he's a privileged, kind of bearded frat guy with armor in others. So they don't do natural martial arts. They dealt in psychology, erotic desire, rape, murder, and theft. Okay? They like to scapegoat the Vikings and make it seem like there's these horrible people that went around robbing and killing. But the masses of that stuff was done by the Romans, okay, in ancient, long ago. Then later on, World War II, those millions of rapes and all kinds of stuff. But you get what I'm saying. Okay, this is key. Okay, this is very key to understand what's going on. These people want to jack the righteous and jack every one of their places and reinvent themselves. That's why they say there's black identity extremists. That's why you have in Roots who says, your name is Toby, no, it's Kuta Kinte, or whatever they were saying. Okay, because they're trying to reinvent them in a way that they look up to scum, and so that women who are mega conformists in their systems date scum. And the ones that weren't, they killed themselves, in Europe and so on and so forth, all the way to America, every race. And they argued with them and got raped and beat and killed. And sometimes in their TV shows, they depict what happens when a woman tries to say, hey, this is wrong, I don't want to do it your way. They say, you're not so high and mighty now, trying to argue against us with morality, okay? So all the Virgin Marys and all them, that's where they went. They're gone. Juliet and them, they're gone. They've been screened out from generations of breeding and eugenics. The point of eugenics, very much so, is sexual sadist governing class control, and to get rid of any attractive female or anybody who would reason with them, okay, and insist that they're wrong, because they want the sentiment, the belief and behavior in society to be hypergamy, to date toward the crooked upper class. So they replaced the idea of a martial art king, the sword, the crown, right? Symbols of martial arts, when you refine them, a broad sword, that's in a broad sense, not very precise, versus a sharp sword, precision and decision, okay? Divinely ordained versus, someone acting like a broad, acting like a bitch. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so now that we've established that in a way that you'd have to be batshit crazy to disagree, let's again go back to the African types. The Ethiopians are like Bushmen, right? They have some guys who are more like warriors, but we got to consider spectrum, variation, frequencies, and the overwhelming amount of evidence. Okay, the Lion King is based on the Igbos. The Black Panther is based on these Igbos, because that's not the only one. I'm not the only one who sees it this way. Okay, The lion on the martial arts standard, on the war standard, is often depicted as a leopard. That's why the Antichrist has leopard characteristics, because he's trying to mimic and mock. You know, the Bible talks about mockers, trying to mock the idea of the Lion of Judah, which is the leopard. Okay, the leopard is surgical and precise, and he's a form of a lion, like a mountain lion, a cougar, and so on and so forth. Okay, a jaguar, except for he's from the source, and he's precise. Okay, he's the master. Look at the way the leopard hunts compared to the jaguar, the lion, the cat. You'll get real quickly why the leopard is actually the Lion of Judah. Leopard, leopard. Leo, draw, P. L-O, reproductive cycle, draw, P. Leopard. Okay, the word is the draw. Okay. So we look at the Ethiopian, the Somalian. Okay, a lot of them are skinnier guys. When they start putting on weight, they just have a belly, and they have like a goblin effect. Okay, I'm not insulting them. Nice people, you know. Wouldn't mind dating an Ethiopian chick. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, at least. Now, part of my brain doesn't really work. We'll get to that another video or something. Okay, let's go to the places around Nigeria, because they talk about sub-Saharan Africa, right? And they're talking about West Africa. This is the core of the African kind of warrior genome. Okay, so you have Benin, you have Cameroon, you have Congo, you have Niger, you have Ivory Coast, and so on and so forth. Okay, these guys are smaller countries. Their frequency is not as impressive. Their spectrum is not as impressive. Okay, a lot of them are like, you know, Kevin Hart type of guys. You know, Akon, right? Senegal is similar to this idea. Okay, they're not really warrior guys. They're just average black guys. Okay, and some guys are big and strong, but they're too slow. So I outmaneuver them quickly. I'd stick them. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Pop, 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 pop. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Obviously, I do a lot faster before. You see how it's Black Panther-like movements that is too physically intense and effective for any style. The Kung Fu guy couldn't deal with it because it's too fast. It's like, for the same reason the Kung Fu guy couldn't keep up with me on the basketball court. It's the same reason when you look at the refined muscles for striking, they couldn't keep up with me in martial arts, okay? It's also range. So I reach out all the way here, okay? Okay, they couldn't keep up. Now imagine if I'm in good shape and my muscles are tight, okay? And that wasn't being poisoned in fumes. As you can see, I'm starting to breathe heavy already. There's fumes in the air, and they've been fuming me for years. I air out this house all the time. They have some kind of micro particles that they control with a computer. It's because of who I am, and it's because of what I'm talking about right now. They're eugenicists. They talk about DNA, genetics, heredity, and success. And they want to sabotage people because they're social engineers to make it seem like their families are superior. And then they add the managerial class in on it, and they throw poor people a bone, and they have a massive network, okay? So we have the Congo guy. It's like a Mayweather, right? Mayweather in single combat is going to take someone like me on. He's going to try to dodge around eventually, but he's going to get stuck. He's going to get stuck in the net. He's going to squirt in it up. He's going to die, okay? You know, and same with Tyson. He have a big, strong arm. He's trying to, I dodge, right in the neck, bump. Okay, I work the angles, there. All right, step back, kind of outmaneuver. Okay, outmaneuver. Okay, this kind of thing, okay? It's also because I'm smarter than he is. It has to do with brain function and brain structure. What is a leopard's brain like? What is a lion's? What is a falcon's? Okay, so falcon has a small brain, but he goes super fast. So it's function, not just size. The Nazis noticed that Nordic people had big skulls, so they tried to chop it up to just size. But then how do you account for the leopard, the falcon, moving at 242 miles an hour and has a small brain? Okay, so it's function, it's quality of brain and function and power, and not just size. Okay. Compare it also to batteries. Some batteries are big batteries that don't work that well. Some batteries are small batteries that work well. Okay. So, you know, it's also muscle quality. The brain is what causes your muscles to change shape when you work out. Okay. And so imagine, you know, I have the best body for martial arts ever seen. Okay. And naturally, they're going to, in the future, they might surpass it in a sense, but not in truth, not in terms of what it's actually for, form and for, the natural conveyance of the Holy Spirit of God, okay? So imagine how my brain was being formed when I was dealing with intent and wisdom, intelligence, insight, discernment, focus, moral intensity, as my body was being formed. Mind, body, soul, spirit, okay? And mind-body connection. So this is why these other races, okay, you know, they're not God's chosen, you know. The lion is the king of the jungle, not just another animal. And if all the rats and the foxes and the jackals and the deer democratize the lion's power, they would just be bitches. And this is what we see in liars and snakes and horrible, horrible people. Okay, this is what we see in Egypt, where we see the crocodile, the hippo, we see, you know, the swan, we see the jackal, the snake, the aardvark, the deer. We see the boar. These are forms of Set. We see all these different animals that are being studied, and people are saying, hey, I'm like this animal. And the pharaoh, the archetype of pharaoh was the falcon, faster and master. And how did he achieve being faster? He's the son of the leopard. Look at my leopard-like, kind of Black Panther-like shape, okay? It takes that kind of shape to achieve the fastest speed, okay? You know, so it's like with all due respect to Asians, it's like nerds working out and trying to come up with some formula to move faster, but they can't do it, okay? If the sheep tries to come up with a way to run faster, or the dog, then the cheetah, it's not going to work. You see what I'm saying? Because nature said you have certain limitations. Okay, you don't see these people floating on air. You don't see people catching bullets in their 2 fingers, because there are certain limitations that are placed on them. Okay, and it's that natural kind of conveyance from God that makes me the best, not the white man's tutelage. That he basically didn't show me shit. You see what I'm saying? For him to try to take credit for my actions and my martial arts and my genius is like him trying to take credit for the cheetah's speed. It's absurd. It's pathetic. Thank you.